we're going to do a little video, an instructional video. A few weeks ago, a buddy of mine was painting, and I could tell right away from the snapshot that his wife took while he was working that he was doing a couple things that I could help him with quick. So his first problem was his paint was too thick. You open up a can of paint and you're going to get different thicknesses. This one here, I have the whiz in because I'm doing small areas in the kitchen, but this paint was extremely thick from when I opened it and started rolling the walls. So you always want to thin it down a little bit. I just keep this as a little water source. So you give it just a shot of water. You want to mix it up. See the water in there? You just want to mix that up. So when you pick up your brush, you want that to disappear. Your little drizzle, you want it to kind of disappear quickly. So what I'm going to work on, show you on today is there's first priority is doing that with this. We're going to be doing this line up here, okay, our ceiling line. I did the ceilings white yesterday. Now we're doing a color called grayish on the wall. So to be able to pull that line and nice and straight and easy in a time efficient manner, you want to have your paint thinned down a bit. I don't care, just put water in it. If it's oil-based paint, put thinner in it, but this is latex paint. So that's the main thing, is your paint has to be thinned down a little bit. Same with your trim. When you go to do your windows and doors and jambs and stuff, that has to be done. Second thing is, he was working off of a ladder. So if I jump up on this ladder, there's my perfect work area. I can get to right here. Otherwise I'm reaching too far and your line is going to be like this. So what we're going to do is, like working off the ground, you either can work off stilts. Now my ceilings in here are 9 foot, so I'm going to put a plank up here and we're going to work right off of that plank. So we got 2 ladders here. All right, we got our plank set up. So we're going to work on this line. Again, they're 9 foot ceilings, so I have it up 3 feet. Figure out whatever height works best for you guys. You know, everybody has a little different. So our paint's thinned down and we're going to work this line across. So you're going to see how easy the brush goes. I'm barely putting any pressure on that brush. Put a lot on there so you can play with it. Feather it out nice, and then you're on to the next one. So if your paint is too thick, it's not going to pull as easy. You want to be able to basically dial this in within one bristle of that paintbrush. See how simple and quick that goes? So if you find that it's pulling too much or your line is a little bit wavy, don't spend a whole lot of time, because it's going to be, I've done this 30 years. It's going to be harder to get a nice straight line. Typically, that one's perfect right there, so I won't even have to, on the second coat, I'll just blow through it as 10 times quicker than this. Don't waste a lot of time playing around. Do your line, get off of it, let it go. You can correct it and come back, like I said, a little bit of a bristle missing. You can add that or cover that the second coat, okay? So that's basically it. Make sure your paint's thin enough that you're pulling a nice, easy, straight line. And second of all, try to work off of a plank that way, or stilts even if you have them, drywall stilts. That way, it's like working off the ground. I'm just shuffling my feet, you know, slightly here, and keeping my arm and eyes at a perfect spot to pull it. All right, so we thinned out our paint to do the line on the wall up to the ceiling. Now, I added some thicker paint to this little bit of thin paint I had, because when you're doing this kind of stuff, cutting in the other stuff, you don't need it that thin. Again, only when you're doing a line like that, or you're painting your trim. When I do trim paint, I'll thin it down just like that also, because then it doesn't leave brush marks. Plus, when you're doing your fine edges on the returns or your sashes, it's easier to pull a straight line. So you're not going to hurt yourself by thinning it out a little. You have to play with it, just see what you like to do. So again, I thinned it out a little bit here, or I'm sorry, I thickened it a bit. So it can be a little thicker, that way you'll get a little better coverage. And then do this here, so. But it covers it pretty good then, especially going over this dark color. So that's this lesson. We'll see if we have any more. Thanks, see ya.